Yes, welcome along to episode 13 of Upping The Ante in association with Bet365 with David Jennings and Gavin Lynch, counting down to the 2022 Cheltenham Festival. Gavin, unfortunately, there is only one place we can start. Two little words, Fernie Hollow. How are you? I'm fearing the worst. Are you okay? Are you okay? Viewers want to know, are you okay?
It was last Thursday, so I'm kind of nearly over to this stage. Nearly.
How, on a scale of 1 to 10 for your Ante Post dockets, how bad was this?
I was very sick. I'm looking up numbers for psychiatrists and stuff, but very bad. And you know, it was a decent pick, whatever, 8 or 10 to 1, and it was into hot favourite. I fancied it a good bit, so what do? You just have to try and get over it and I have to go and try and find the winner of the Arkle.
Was he the one that kind of linked everything together?
Yeah, definitely in the top 3, definitely, yeah. Okay. Yeah, so very sick. I was a bit like Eeyore from Tigger and Pooh.
Yeah, that was a big blow to take. But look, Gavin, Cheltenham is coming. We've the Dublin Racing Festival on the horizon. There's plenty to look forward to. Don't be too down, okay?
I'll try.
Don't be too down. We'll get over it by the end of the show, will we?
Please God.
Let's get on with the show. Now, as always, here on Upping The Ante, we're going to kick off with our questions from the crowd. And the first question this week comes in from Chris Loader. And it is a loaded question from Chris Loader. Now the Fernie Hollow is out of the Arkle. Gavin, where does the value lie?
Yeah, this is like a girl you were dating in college. She breaks your heart, and the next thing you have to sit beside her in class or something, one of the lectures. Do we have to talk about the Arkle? We do,
Gavin.
Okay,
you have to sit beside her. You have to get over the heartbreaking issue.
Okay.
Where's the value?
Where's the value? I don't know. I think this weekend is going to tell a lot. The Irish Arkle, which is on Saturday, I think it's at 2:10. I'll be there on Saturday to see it.
Will you be there?
I will, yes.
Signing autographs?
I know.
Waving to the crowd?
Anybody's any questions, come up and say hello anyway. So at the moment you've got Blue Lord in it, you've Hodan Callure and St. Sam. Will all 3 go, depending on the ground? We're going to talk about the ground a bit. Maybe St. Sam at 8 to 1. I thought he'd probably go to the Turners, but now that Fernie is out, maybe he'll go here. So obviously he's running over the minimum trip of the weekend, 1 or 2 mile. So maybe St. Sam at 8 to 1, but Blue Lord is clear favourite, and I suppose rightly so. Was very keen last year, would have been second in the Supreme. Has he beaten much this year?
No.
But has been very impressive now.
He has been. And I suppose this is a very un-DJ-like answer to a question. I think the favourite is a little bit of value. I think 11 to 4 Bet365. I know he's 9 to 4 non-runner, no bet, but I think he's going to go for this race. I think he could win impressively on at the weekend. And to me, if you go back to last year's Supreme, I think he would have been a clear second. And he was always going to be a chaser. Anything he achieved, I hate that saying, anything he achieved over hurdles was going to be a bonus. Yeah. But it was, being second in the Supreme would have been a bonus. And to me, that's a strong piece of form. He jumps brilliant, he's grown up, he's settling, he's mature. He's 11 to 4. I think you should take that 11 to 4 before the weekend.
Okay. Edward Stone is the second fab. His form has been franked a couple of times since. You've Riviere to tell. She ran very well against Fernie at Christmas, getting a lot of weight, gets less weight this time. 7 pounds perhaps. It'll be interesting if she shows up again, but that would be, I think, her 5th run this season, which is a lot. Third time, Lucky ran the other day, won well, was given weight for pleasure. First time, he's now 3 out of 4 over fences. It was the first time that he actually played the game properly. He didn't waste all the energy.
Do you think Harry Skeldon might be watching this show and listening to Gavin Lynch?
Look,
there was no ants in his pants this time.
There was no ants in the pants there, but for pleasure, you know, it was a tear away, and third time Lucky loved it. They couldn't go quick enough for him. So he didn't end up getting to the front at halfway and all that stuff. So he was quite impressive. So it's a very, very good Arkle, even if the winner's not in it anymore.
Gavin, I can see the sadness in your eyes. We're going to have to get rid of that over the next few weeks.
So I think Saturday will have a big impact, and next week we'll know more.
St. Sam?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, and very unoriginal, but it is Blue Lord for me. Our second question this week comes in from Paul Quinn, and Paul wants to know, who is the most underpriced horse at this year's Cheltenham Festival? Gavin Lynch?
As usual, when you ask me for one, I always give you more.
How many have you
got? It's better value for money.
Yeah.
I've got
it's
6
like
to give you.
treble the odds in a lucky 15 when you get one winner. How many? 6?
6 to give you, yeah.
Okay.
And most of them are favourites. Well, some of them are. I think Gaelic Warrior at 5 to 1 is too short, and the Boodles, we haven't seen him yet. 3 runs in France. He got a rating of 129. I think Patrick last week said in the podcast that that's a good rating and we like him, and all of a sudden he's gone from 12 to 5s.
As Icy Tentacle says on Twitter, all the shrewds are on him.
Do you know, you can't say much nowadays before prices tumble, can you?
I know, yeah.
I think that Prengard at 7 to 2 and Easy's Land at 5 to 1, both JP horses, I think they're both too short. I like Tiger Roll as you do. Easy's Land I think is due to run this weekend, maybe over hurdles.
Yeah.
So that's a positive if you fancy him. I'd be against the two of them. We haven't seen Prengard in Britain or Ireland yet. I think Vauban is too short at 4 to 1 for the Triumph. I think okay, he ran Pied Piper to half length, whatever, and Punchestown. Pied Piper to me improved hugely. And you just can't say for certain that Vauban will improve the same. So I think attaching him to being as good as Pied Piper, I think that's a bit dubious.
Okay, we're going to see
He's a good
him
horse
at the weekend,
yeah. I think Billaway is too short. I think, what is he, 9-2 favourite?
You turncoat, you. You're Billaway's the founding member of the fan club.
Yeah, but he just can't keep backing a horse. He's been second in 200 chase at Cheltenham. His jumping again wasn't good enough in Thurles. I just have a little think about his jumping is not good enough personally. I think he's too short.
You haven't got to the number 1 yet, because I have one that's head and shoulders above Everton.
My number 6 is Concertista.
You got it. That is the right answer.
9-4 in places and 5-2 and whatever. I think it's too short. She didn't run in Thurles there recently. She's only ran twice over fences. She was impressive in Cork. She wasn't as impressive in Limerick. I think her jumping is a little bit low.
Yeah, low. I was going to say very low.
Yeah, so like the form of her Limerick run was grand, but it's not 5-2, 9-4-ish for a Mares Chase in Cheltenham. And the other thing is, she's only had the 2 runs. Is she going to have another run before the Mares Chase? Because she'll need it.
Getting close now.
Against Ellie May and Mount Ida and those ones. They've huge experience. She's only novice with 2 runs, so I'd be against her.
Yeah, and as well as that, I would actually prefer to back her 5-2 for the Mares Hurdle rather than the Mares Chase. I think she'd be a much better, stronger contender for the Mares Hurdle again.
On the line last year when I backed it and tipped it,
Yeah, sorry about that, Gavin. I'm hitting you from all angles this week, but Concertista, 9-4 Bet365 for the Mares Chase is a ridiculous price.
Yeah, I just think that, it's very, very difficult to keep finding value week on week at Cheltenham sometimes. And like as we saw the other day with even, Gaelic Warrior, 12s to 5s, just because Patrick said it's a nice horse. So.
Yeah. There you go. The value has evaporated. We both think Concertista is way too short. And our final question in this week's segment of questions from the crowd comes in from Isabel Duffy. And Isabel wants to know, Gavin, Pied Piper or Phil Dore? If both show up in the Triumph Hurdle, which do you prefer? And do you think they will both show up? And before I start, a big boola bus, which is clap hands in Irish for our British viewers.
Okay.
Yeah, boola bus, a big boola bus to Gavin Lynch. Headline in the Racing Post on Saturday. Take the 14-1 Pied Piper for the Triumph Hurdle. Yeah, you can read Gavin every Saturday in the Racing Post. And the headlines have been going very well, Gavin.
Yeah, not too bad, yeah. So it's just when you see the runners out on Friday and Saturday, sometimes you might see something. Whereas on a Tuesday morning, we wouldn't know all the entries and stuff. So it's a bit different.
Did you back Pied Piper on Saturday?
I had a small bet in it, Dave. Now I have a good few quid in Phil Dore, so I want...
divided loyalties here.
Yeah. I'd prefer financially Phil Dore, but I personally think that Pied Piper would be hard beat. Now, what's very interesting afterwards is the Gordon said at home that Phil Dore is the better horse, which everybody watching the telly is going, really?
Well, now, there's a little caveat there. They don't work together. Pied Piper doesn't need much work because he's such a fast horse. He's kind of, he's a speed horse, really. Whereas Phil Dore, I'd say it takes a little bit more to get him fit, so he does more work. I would say of the two, the classier horse at the moment is Pied Piper. I would say Phil Dore will end up being the best horse, I'd say. I
would imagine that Pied Piper will end up a 2-mile hurdler, maybe in a champion hurdle, and that Phil Dore will end up a chaser.
Yes.
2.5, 3 miles maybe eventually. So generally to win the Triumph you need to stay because it's 2-mile one. But you have to remember the Pied Piper when it won on Saturday, that was the course and distance of the Triumph Hurdle. So he's got no issue with stamina.
Could it happen that you have Pied Piper in the Triumph, or maybe we'll say Phil Dore in the Triumph Hurdle, Pied Piper in the Supreme, and Mighty Potter in the Ballymore? Could that happen?
It could happen. I doubt it will. As the old expression goes, a triumph in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. If it was me, I'd run the 2 of them in the Triumph. It'd be great for Andrew and Gemma Brown to have a winner at Cheltenham. So, they're odds on to win the Triumph if they run the 2 of them in that. The Supreme also was such a brilliant race this year. Now, I think Pied Piper would have a chance in the Supreme because...
what price would he be?
Going off on the day.
Yeah, 9-2 kind of thing.
Yeah,
getting weight.
Yeah, he'd be 5-1 shot, 6-1 shot. Getting £8, has loads of gears. His jumping on Saturday was quite good. A couple of small mistakes down the back, but just turned in. He's just hard on the steel.
Now, I spoke to Joey Logan, who's the racing manager for Gemma and Andy. And he said to me that there's a strong possibility that they'll both run in the Triumph. And what I think you need to remember here is that Caldwell Construction, these colours, the red and white, they're only in the game a year and a half.
Okay.
They've only had one runner at the Cheltenham Festival, Chemical Energy in the bumper last year, and he got hot and heavy before the race. So they've come an awful long way in a short space of time.
They have a lot of horses.
And to get a Cheltenham winner this early in the establishment will be massive. So I think both of them are going to run the Triumph.
Yeah, I'd say you're right.
Yeah.
And it's very hard to see one of those two not winning it. I'd have them definitely ahead of Vauban.
Yeah.
Iker Allen that has to run this weekend as well as a decent horse. there's one or two in England, but as we see, the Irish ones seem to be ahead of the English ones based on Saturday.
So at the moment, if they both line up in the Triumph Hurdle, Pied Piper and Fildor, who wins?
I'd say Pied Piper.
I'd say Pied Piper too. So folks, it's the week that was time. Yes, this is Gavin Lynch's chance to tell you all about the horses who have impressed him over the last 7 days, and it's been a bumper week of action. And Gavin, I'm sure those notes are full to the brim. I'm seeing highlighters,
Yeah.
I'm seeing joint writing, acrylic writing, I'm seeing everything on that page.
Yeah, no, this was a busy week.
I'll go get a cuppa.
You might. Start on Thursday in Gorham Park.
Clock is on, come on.
Gorham Park on Thursday, we'll start with Royal Kahala, who ended up beating Home by the Lead by 1 3/4 lengths.
Tipped up on the show.
Getting £4. Yeah, well done.
Thanks.
Classical Dream finished 4th at 3-1 on. Very disappointing. The one thing you'll say, there was a 16-month break before it bolted up last year in Punchestown. There was an 8-month break until Leopardstown at Christmas when it won again, beat Flooring Porter. And then there's only 1 month to Gorham Park. So whether that's a factor, he needs maybe big gaps between races. The ground Paul said afterwards, the ground was a bit tacky for him. So he was very, very disappointing. Like obviously he was 3-1 on, so.
He's a bit like that, I'd say. I'd say he's just, you don't know what you're going to get from him on some days.
Yeah, he's just not totally reliable. He's 5-1 now and bigger for the Stairs Hurdle. Royal Cahill is 4-1 for the Mares Hurdle, NRNB. And just to mention, Bet365 have 2 sets of prices, which I think is a very good idea.
Fantastic by Bet365.
So you've got, just be careful when you go into the website, but it's very, very well done. You've got a Cheltenham NRNB, and underneath that you've Cheltenham Ante Post.
Yeah.
So you can choose whichever price that you
Yeah,
want to go
absolutely.
for.
And
So
obviously the chance you're taking Ante Post punting with the bigger price is that if your horse doesn't show up on the day, you don't get your money back.
but at least it's nice to have the
Yeah,
choice.
I guarantee you we're complete opposites here. I'd be the one that would be going for the bigger price and saying, look, I'm going to take a chance. I'd say you're more conservative.
I'd be taking the NRNB usually,
Yeah.
unless there's a big difference.
Okay.
Royal Cahill, as we said, 4-1 for the Mares Hurdle, NRNB, 7-1 for the Stairs.
Has to go for the Stairs. Has to go for the Stairs.
I think she'll go for the Mares Hurdle.
She's too slow, I think.
I think that the ground is her biggest issue. She's not even a definite runner to Cheltenham that she'd go. The ground on the Tuesday will be softer, so
yeah,
usually.
Yeah,
Unless
plenty of water. It'll be the first day of the new track though, so plenty of water. She on the old course, tight, plenty of pace you need for that race. I just don't see how she won't get outpaced in the Mares Hurdle. She has to go for the Stairs Hurdle.
Okay.
And it's wide open as well.
Yeah, the Stairs is, yeah.
She might
Especially
win
after
it,
this
but I could see her running really well in the Stairs Hurdle.
Also at Gorham Park, Course Sublime is now 10-1 for the Grand Annual and 20s for the Arkle. Jumped well, except for one slow jump at the 5th last. It was a poor beginner's chase, went off 6-1 on and won by 10 lengths.
Yeah.
Third run over fences. The 2 previous were behind Fernie at Punchestown and Leopardstown at Christmas.
My charity bet in last week's show, you raised me up. Didn't run, just for anybody thinks. I tipped a loser, I didn't. Didn't run.
His hurdle rating Course Sublime was 150. Generally, the English handicapper doesn't like giving you a lower rating over fences than you had over hurdles, so it'll be somewhere around that, I'd say.
Okay.
If it does go for the Grand Annual. Mercury is only a 4-year-old. Now, that's a gorgeous horse.
That was some performance.
Yeah, brilliant performance. Is now 9-2 non-runner no bet for the champion bumper. It bolted up by 13 lengths. It was 8 seconds quicker than the handicap hurdle run over the same trip. But just remember that handicap hurdle was won by a horse rated 93, so you'd expect it to be faster.
Just that last kind of half furlong, it was like whoosh.
Yeah, definitely going to be a gorgeous hurdle and a lovely chaser.
Yeah.
And Willie said afterwards, not sure, have to chat to connections. Might go for the 4-year-old winners race in Limerick and then maybe on to Punchestown. So
okay,
just
Mercury.
Just be careful backing him, particularly Ante Post. I wouldn't do that yet. On to Huntingdon on Friday. A horse maybe people...
Jesus, Huntington.
Yeah, people might not have heard of this horse. Is Risk and Roll. The reason I mention it is that it absolutely bolted up by 7 lengths. It was due to run off 119. It ran off 120. It was a pound out of the handicap. It's a former hunter chaser, but this was a Pertemps qualifier. So it's now up to 130. Will it get in off 130? Maybe not, but then last year you probably did because of the COVID thing. So just Risk and Roll. Tabitha Worsley absolutely bolted up. So
yeah,
just worth to mention.
She is flying at the moment.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
And the third horse, for example, is Who Dares Win. So just to tell you, there's 4 more Pertemps qualifiers. So there's one this weekend in Musselburgh. And surprisingly enough, Gordon Ellie has no entries, which I was a bit of a surprise at. He also have one the following week in Exeter. Then there's another one in Haydock, and there's one in Chepstow.
Have you found the winner yet? You told me earlier on the show you'd found the winner, but you haven't mentioned it yet.
No, he's not qualified yet, so.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'll wait till he's qualified.
You're leaving them on tenter hooks?
Yeah, no, I have a couple that I fancy for different handicaps and stuff, but I just have to stay quiet for the minute.
Okay.
We're on to Cheltenham on Saturday. Brilliant day's racing in Cheltenham. Undoubtedly the star of the show for me was Paisley Park, but we'll get to him in a minute. Pied Piper that we spoke about. Couple of mistakes down the back, but he won by 9 lengths in the end. It was the same time as the handicap hurdle, won by a horse rated 130, so that's fine. He's now 2 from 2 over hurdles. He was 96 rated on the flat. And he's rightly 5 to 2 or 94 for the triumph hurdle, yeah.
Yeah, right favourite.
Imperial Alcazar, your old pal, is now 8 to 1 for the Ultima, 8 to 1 for the Paddy Power Plate, non-runner, no bet.
As I tweeted, Gavin, he is going to be some certainty in the 2021 Thames final off 147. Get over myself!
Go on.
You've been 10 minutes talking about Fernie Hollow.
That's a year ago. Fernie Hollow's only the other day. So he beat Beakstown by 10 lengths over 2.5 miles, 2 mile 4.5 furlong, which is the course and distance for the Paddy Power Plate.
Yeah.
Now the one thing I'll say is that although he did win a qualifier last year over 3 mile 1, when he ran behind Pat's Fancy at Chepstow, to me he just didn't look like he stayed at 3 mile, which is a bit odd.
Yeah.
But if it was me, I would definitely run him in the Paddy Power Plate. I wouldn't run him in the Ultima. What would you do?
I'd say they'll probably end up running on the Turners.
The Turners.
I'd say he's gone way too high for a handicap now.
He's gone up £8. The ratings came out this morning there from Saturday. He was off 144. He's gone up to 152.
That's
jumped
a
very,
big
very
ass on a handicap off 152, is it?
Yeah, maybe go for the Turners.
Interesting, yeah.
He jumped very well except for one mistake, but yeah, good performance, powered up the hill. And then
Told you he was a lovely horse, didn't I tell you?
You did. In the following race, Nigel Twiston Davis deserves a huge round of applause because the first prize well, he ran in the open race against non-novices. Yeah. So Imperial Alcazar and Torn and Frayed won very similar races.
Yeah.
Imperial Alcazar was a novice race. The first prize was 15.5 grand. And Torn and Frayed, who's also a novice, could have ran in that, ran here and won 56 grand.
Lovely.
So well done. Good choice. He's also going to pay £8. He's gone from 131 to 139 after beating Galahad Quest by 6 lengths, again over the same course and distance. And there was a half a second between Imperial Alcazar and Torn and Frayed, so both times were fine.
Mr. Price-wise, Tom Siegel in the Racing Post and Paul Keeley tipped up Torn and Frayed as well.
Oh, very good. He had been second to My Drogo. His jumping is okay. It's not brilliant, but it's fine. Just to keep in mind, he's definitely better going left-handed because he jumps out a bit to his left, as he did at Ascot. So.
Correct.
Chantry House.
We got it, well...
You got it
right
and
wrong and wrong and right and wrong, and look, that was not an impressive performance.
No. I thought Nico was very good on him, just to say.
Very good, yeah.
Nico gets a bit of a slack here and there, but I thought Nico was very, very good on him. He's now 12 to 1 non-runner bet for the Gold Cup. His season has been a bit hit and miss. He won a 2-horse race, was pulled up on the King George, then he wins here. Now he's only beaten the 10-year-old Santini by 2.5 lengths. And I wouldn't back him for a Gold Cup in a month of Sundays.
Gavin, if he wins the Gold Cup, I will update all your spreadsheets for you after Cheltenham. I know that's a tedious job, but I will update all your spreadsheets for free if he wins the Gold Cup.
That might take a couple of hours, but yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I won't be doing it because he won't win a Gold Cup.
No, I wouldn't fancy him, but just he could run on to be third or fourth.
Yeah.
His jumping was okay, but again, it's hard to believe that he won the Marsh last year.
Yeah.
That he had the speed for 2.5 miles because he looked slow the other day. Paisley Park and Champ. It was an amazing finish, but also an amazing start.
Yeah.
So Paisley Park misses the break. He jams on and then they get him going again. So to me, he was definitely 12 lengths behind Champ after half a furlong, whatever. That's his third cleave hurdle in a row. So he's a fantastic horse. The only thing against him, I suppose, is the stats. But he's a 10-year-old. So is Champ. He's 10 as well.
You don't like these older horses, Gavin?
Not particularly, no.
Do you think with Paisley Park, Gavin, he's a kind of a horse that when things go wrong, it almost brings out the best in him? Like if you remember when he won the Stayers, he traded at a big enough price and run. He hit a flat spot, looked beaten, and then he made up that ground.
Yeah.
That course definitely suits him.
Definitely does.
But it's almost when the earlier he's off the bridle and the more he has to do, the better he seems to run.
I'd say that it's amazing how long it takes people to figure out how a horse has to be ridden, which is understandable because they can't talk to you. But it seems like they'll have to drop him out last, and just ride him.
It's not an easy ride.
No, ride him like a non-trier and just come late.
Yeah.
Like he was third at Weatherby, was a poor run. Then they changed the tactics at Newbury. That didn't work.
No.
He was third to Champ at Ascot, but he's definitely better at Cheltenham.
Yes.
He's 11 to 2 now for the Stayers.
He'll be placed, I'd imagine.
Like I'd no bet in the race, but I was cheering for Paisley Park.
Oh yeah, magic.
Just
magic.
A brilliant horse. It's one reason again, as we said before, why National Hunt Racing is better to me, because that's a horse we've seen for years, and here he comes again and wins another
brilliant
race.
Owner, like cracking trainer, lovely trainer, great jockey. Everything you like in National Hunt Racing is epitomised by Paisley Park.
And hopefully Andrew Gemla wasn't there. We'll get to Cheltenham in March.
Yeah, sure he will.
Paisley Park, he didn't win the Stayers last year at the age of 9. Is he going to win it at 10? I'd have my doubts. And the last thing to talk about is just Mullenberg won the bumper at the end of the day. Was talk of going to the entry bumper. Might end up in the Cheltenham bumper yet. That's a nice. She's a nice mare. Doncaster on Saturday. Third time lucky that we mentioned. Was giving for pleasure £5. Was travelling all over it when that came down to the last. It definitely would have won. Has gone up £1 to 153 now. But if he behaves himself and doesn't get carried away in the first half of the Arkle, obviously he's going.
The horse or the jockey now?
The horse.
The horse, right?
And if he behaves himself, you could see him travelling very well at the bend.
Okay.
I just don't think he'd have the resolution maybe to win it, but he could run a big race. Fairy House on Saturday, the Solarina Novice Hurdle. So Allegory Devassi, the horse I've tipped up, and Brandy Love, who I also like. There was 3.5 lengths between them, but at the same time, that doesn't tell the story of the race.
No.
The first 3 hurdles, Brandy Love was quite straight, a little bit to the left, but then the last 6 hurdles,
carnage.
As we use in racing, I don't know why we use it, but violently to the left.
Violently, yeah. Gavin, I have bad news for you. This form is going to be reversed at Cheltenham.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you necessarily. Is that the other thing you have to remember is that Allegory Devassi is a £5 penalty for Cheltenham, so that's a big difference. And also the fact that Brandy Love going left-handed. Now I think Gary O'Brien said afterwards you have to be careful that there's no running rail for a lot of the race in Cheltenham, right?
Yeah.
So I went and looked at last year's Mares Novice Hurdle, and half the race there's no rail. Only at the bends there tend to be a rail. So I also went and looked at Brandy Love's run in Naas, and actually was quite similar. Yeah. There was no rail for a lot of the race in Naas.
Okay.
So to me that's not a worry.
Would you be worried that there's an issue there, a physical issue, that she's jumping so violently to her left?
Violently to the left.
Could there be an issue, an underlying issue?
Maybe there is, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. Is that she jumped dead straight at Naas. I think she'll do so again, but horses just can do that. If you look at Get-A-Bird, who couldn't go left-handed, Asterion Forlange, York Hill couldn't go right-handed, even Largy Debut, who's impressive in Cork, ran at Christmas in Leopardstown and jumped out to his right as well. So I suppose
like
it
if you
happens.
stood here, you'd have a nightmare. You have to stand on that side.
Have to.
Yeah.
Like Ant and Deck.
So are you a Brandy Love or Allegory Devassi now?
If the two of them were the same price, I think I'd probably just go for Brandy Love.
Oh, he's changed.
Yeah.
He's changed.
I think 5-2, Allegory Devassi is too short. I think there's bigger about the place. Now, the other thing you have to say, in fairness to Allegory Devassi, all the talk was Brandy Love afterwards, is that she travelled very well, she quickened, right? She only got one slap at the stick. So you just don't know, is that the full range of her ability? It might
and she's straightforward, like. She's very straightforward.
Yeah.
She makes a nice shape over her hurdles. She's going to make a smash and chaser.
So you don't know what, she might have found more under pressure, but Brandy Love is going to be
There's a few kinks in Brandy Love, isn't there?
Yeah.
You just don't know what you're going to get.
No. You like the Brandy Love jokes.
Yeah, they're good, yeah.
On to Sedgefield on Sunday. Sedgefield on a Sunday? Are you joking?
Do your goggle box.
Oh. Meanwhile at Sedgefield.
That's one of your best impressions.
Any harm in asking?
No, absolutely not.
No. This is a famous horse because he beat Constitution Hill in his point in Tipperary. You know, I went and looked at it again yesterday, and everybody will tell you the Constitution Hill made a terrible mistake at the last, blah, 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 blah. The two of them went hammer and tongs on the last circuit.
Yeah.
Any harm in asking made a bad mistake 2 out. Constitution Hill made a worse mistake at the last. But I'm just saying it was a brilliant run.
It was a brilliant one. But Constitution Hill would have won if he jumped the last. Wouldn't he though?
Probably. But I'm just saying, don't go overboard.
I know.
If the two of them had winged the last two fences rather, there might have been a length between them. So it's some run.
It is some run, yeah.
So he gets beat on his first 3. He's now 2 from 2 in handicaps. He bolted up in Catterick and he bolted up in Sedgefield. Now he beats Elat. So the form, you know, it's not Cheltenham form yet.
No, it's all right though.
But he won off 127. His rating, because he ran on Sunday, doesn't come out till tomorrow, so I can't tell you what he went up. But I'm sure he's up to 137. Would he get 10 for that? 8?
Well, I think it's next. We won't find out for another week, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. But the only thing is, this horse crying out for step up and trip, I think. So he's run over 2 miles. Like Martin Pipe written all over him.
He could have, yeah. Now, the only thing is that John Joe Neal Jr. won't be able to ride him in the Martin Pipe, so would he go for a county? Would he go for a Coral Cup? I don't know. And just to tell you, he definitely jumps a little bit to his left. Okay. Definitely. So don't ever back him right-handed, whatever you do.
Gavin Lynch has spoken. Don't you dare back him right-handed.
Don't. He won't win. Statler, Ante Naas on Sunday is now 3-1 joint favourite for the National Chase, and he's mostly favoured, I think. Beat Farouk Delaine by a length and a quarter. I looked at it again yesterday. When I watched it the first time, I thought he made a few mistakes, but actually his jumping wasn't too bad.
I thought Willie was a bit harsh on him afterwards.
I looked at it
jumped
afterwards.
okay.
Yeah, he jumped fine. He made 2 small mistakes, but nothing major.
Yeah. He just wins the National Chase, doesn't he?
Probably. I'm just confused by the horse because last year he didn't come up the hill in the Bartlett.
No, but he just keeps going the one pace, I think.
I thought last year he was a dour stayer, and then I thought maybe he wasn't because of the gears he showed. In Ferry was over 2.5, but yeah, he's fully entitled to be favoured.
Okay.
Do you think Gigginstown will run Wild Fred and Farouk Delaine?
I think Farouk Delen needs cutting the ground, I do.
Yeah, but he would get that. The national chase is on the Tuesday,
Yeah.
so he would get it. So
Okay.
maybe they'll run both, maybe they won't.
Okay.
The horse I had tipped up on Baton, loved him in the first 2 miles of the race, jumped brilliant except for one bad mistake, and then turning in I thought he was going to stay involved, and he just stopped.
That must be sickening.
Yeah,
Because he looked so good for so long.
Willie even commented afterwards that maybe there's something wrong with the horse because he's better than that. Like, he achieved a Racing Post rating of 147, I think, the last day. Sure, he didn't run to 120 the other day.
No.
So maybe something happened, but I was disappointed, obviously. Also, Nathan Sunday, Saint Felicien. Thoughts of a champion hurdle are now in the bin. He's 50s for that. He's 16s for the Coral Cup, 16s for the county hurdle. Now, what rating he's going to get is interesting because...
How would you rate him?
I don't know. I'll give you 2 examples. Durasa, who beat him by 3 1/4 lengths, is rated 150, and Durasa was giving him £5. But at the other side of it, he finished a half a length ahead of Whiskey Sour, who was rated 145, and he was giving him £4. So, high 140s.
Poor Sandy Shaw, that's what I say.
Yeah, no, it's not easy.
How on earth do you give him a mark?
And also to mention, Petit Mouchoir was an eye catcher in 4th. Ran a cracker last year in the county hurdle. I'm sure he's going to go there again. Champion Green was odds on. It was a poor race, settled much better.
Jump great.
Yeah, jumped a lot better.
Tapped his hurdles, yeah.
And he settled a lot better as well than he had done previous. It was a poor race. He won by 3 1/2 lengths. He was 4 to 6. It was a first time tongue tie and a second time in the hood, so maybe that made a bit of a difference. Mark Walsh gave it a lovely ride, went very slow, so much so that it was 13 seconds slower than the Durasso race, which is almost a furlong, and 3 seconds slower than the Man of Works race, which was a similar type race.
Yeah, but getting a lead in a Boodles, you know, sitting 3rd or 4th, if he settles and jumps, he's got a massive chance.
Yeah, he has to have. He's 8 to 1 for that. He was a decent flat horse as well. The Nice Guy, to me, was very, very impressive. He's 12 to 1 for Albert Bartlett. He made 2 slight mistakes, but he was 2 seconds quicker than the bump, which is a decent effort considering he jumped hurdles. The second horse, the short go, was a bit keen. Ramilles made a mistake at the last.
Do you know what? Willie Mullins loves Ramilles. I remember last year, even in previews and stuff, he was always talking about Ramilles. And even after the race, he goes, that horse is going to improve. He loves that horse. That's his guilty pleasure.
He said that Ramilles was fat.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. There's something between Willie and that horse. I don't know what it is. They have history together. And he loves Ramilles. It's interesting.
His 2 bumper wins earlier on this season were over 2 miles, the Nice Guy. This was 2 mile 3. To me, he only got going after last. So
massive contender in the Albert Bartlett.
Yeah, and he's definitely a 3 miler. I'm a big, critic of bumpers, but I like the fact that if you run a bumper or 2 and then go hurdle in the same season, no problem with that.
No problem.
Just wasting a full year.
You're okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Seabank Bistro, who's named after a restaurant in Malahide. I'm sure you knew that. I haven't been there yet. Beat San Antonio. It's the 3rd time in a row that a Willie Mullins horse has beaten him in a bumper. Won by 5 lengths over 2 mile 3. He's 21 for the champion bumper. Tom, his owner, I'm sure, will be delighted to go to Cheltenham. And
so does the owner of the restaurant own the horse?
I don't think so. I don't know. I have to find out. But he was squeezed along a few times, including when they just went past the stands. He seemed to be niggling. He was niggling on the far side. And the next thing, they arrived at the 2 furlong pole and he's tanking. So that's interesting. Maybe it was just greenness, but he's very, very nice horse. And he'll make a lovely chaser in time. It was Patrick's 700 victory. And the horse was also bred by Willie, which is interesting.
Wow. How are we getting on?
2 to go. Punchdown on Monday, Kilcrush. First time tongue tie seemed to make a big difference. This was the Kilcrush that we seen last season. His 2 runs this year in Cork and Leopardstown were poor, to say the least. This was much better. It was a bad race. He was 5 to 1 on. He won by 21 lengths. He was 10 seconds or 40 lengths quicker than the 4-year-old handicap, won by a horse rated 106. So the time was good. He's 14 to 1 for the Supremes.
It's funny that after a hurdle, 2 of the horses were in County Kildare and 2 of them were in Laois.
Yeah. The horse owned
Maiden
by Jim
hurdles
Burgess
in Ireland can be fascinating.
They can, yeah. But I thought Kilcrush seemed somewhat back to his best, and he has to be a player in the Supreme based on...
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Not for me, no.
I think he has to be a player.
Okay.
Classic Getaway rather, who's a 6-year-old, cost 570 grand. He's 20 to 1 for the Ballymore and the Albert Bartlett. First time hood, to me, very unimpressive. I couldn't have him for the Ballymore or the Bartlett, but he'd probably...
Take the 5 off that price now, so he's probably...
He was actually slightly slower than the Mares maiden hurdles. That's not a good sign.
No.
1 mistake at the second last. Will be a nice 3 miler in time. But so there we mentioned 24 horses, 14 that ran in Ireland and 10 that ran in the UK in the last week. There you go.
That's the week that was?
Yep.
That was the week that was. Now, Upping The Ante viewers, are you a member of the Racing Post Members Club? Shame on them, Gavin, if they're not. Shame
they should be,
on them. Yeah, you need to be, don't you?
You do, yeah.
Tell them why, Gavin. Why? Why should there be a Racing Post member?
If you want to make a few quid,
Yeah.
and you want to get all the information, all the videos, all the cards, all the latest, what's happening. Like, things change very quickly coming up to Cheltenham, so you need to keep on top of it.
Yeah, you need to keep
And how much is it for the next 3 months?
15 quid for the next 3 months. 15 quid, Gavin. It's nothing.
It's just
15 quid.
It's not even a bet.
It's not even. You can subscribe in the description section of Upping The Ante. You'll see it there. It'll come up. You need to subscribe to the Racing Post Members Club because Gavin Lynch, you're a winning punter and you're a member.
Yep.
What else? What other reason do you need?
Especially coming up to Cheltenham.
Be like Gavin Lynch and become a Racing Post member. So, of course, you know by now, each week here on Upping The Ante, we preview one of the graded races at the Cheltenham Festival. And this week, it is the turn of the Dawn Run Mares Novice Hurdle, which changed complexion a little bit at the weekend after the Solarina Hurdle at Fairyhouse. And at the moment, your 5-2 favourite is Allegory de Vassi. It is 4-1 Brandy Love. It is 6-1 Dino Blue. And it is 7-1 Bar, which includes my original fancy in the race, LA Bell. Gavin,
Yes.
Where do we stand?
We stand that if you've backed Allegory de Vassi, which I have, since the weekend, I've had a saver on Brandy Love. I think you have to.
Okay, so you've all angles covered,
Well,
Gavin.
just you don't want to start losing on the race if you can't avoid it at all.
Okay.
So I think Brandy Love should be a similar price to Allegory de Vassi. There shouldn't be that disparity between them.
Yeah, I think Brandy Love should be favourite.
Certainly joint favourite.
Yeah.
6-1 Dino Blue, the horse that bolted up in Clonmel, very impressive. That'll need to have another run soon before it goes to Cheltenham.
Yeah. Dino Blue is one of those, you just don't know how good she is.
No, you've no
Haven't
idea.
a
Yeah.
clue.
Now, the horse that was fourth in that race in Clonmel has been well beaten since, and the horse that were second and third are running today in Limerick, so that'll give you an idea.
Yes.
LA Bell, will that go for the Betfair Hurdle or not?
Could do. I might be suited by the fast pace there. She's got a cracking chance in this.
Yeah. Statuaire, the form of its Royal Bond run is very, very good. And the other thing is that Statuaire has the £5 penalty, but then so has Allegory de Vassi. So we'll see. But
Okay.
Statuaire, that could even run at Leopardstown, couldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Grangy fell 2 out. I personally thought
Had a chance.
had a chance, but I thought it was held at the time. It wasn't travelling as good as the winner anyway.
No, I would have been interesting.
Yeah, I still,
She wouldn't have won, but she would have been close. I'd say she might have been second.
I would have said third, but yeah, anyway,
Okay.
it's hard to know. Love Envoy was decent in Lingfield. West Balboa, I think, was second in the
Yeah, a bit disappointing.
race in Newbury.
Yeah.
Party Central is one interesting horse. It runs in a handicap this weekend off 121. It's 14-1 and bigger for the Mares Novice Hurdle. And another horse to mention is Bride's Hill. Now, this horse has come from nowhere. It won a handicap at Christmas very easily. Bride's Hill is a rating of 135, which is very similar to Statuaire, Allegory de Vassi, to all of them, right? Now, Bride's Hill has to give Party Central a stone at the weekend. 135 against 121 is £14. That'll try and make all. So just one of those two could certainly jump into the equation.
Bride's
Because
Hill.
if a mare gets to 140, they more or less win the Mares Novice Hurdle every year.
Yeah. I think that's quite strong form from Bride's Hill at Christmas as well. I like the Mace Morris horse.
Yeah.
Second, so
just,
third.
I'd keep an eye on Party Central and Bride's Hill.
Okay, at decent prices.
Yeah, we'll see it this weekend.
But it's Brandy Love.
Brandy Love or Allegory de Vassi, yeah. Maybe Brandy Love.
You're like me. It's like Brandy Love first and then your selection second
Yeah.
because Brandy Love for me and LA Bell. That was your Dawn Run Mares Novice Hurdle preview. So now it's time for what's happening this week, and have we got a treat in store for you, Upping The Ante viewers, because you're getting your own personal Upping The Ante Dublin Racing Festival preview, a mini preview, Gavin. We're not going to take up too much time, okay? We're going to obviously mention the Scilly Isles and a High Senior at Wetherby as well, but it's the Dublin Racing Festival, and what we've decided to do, we've had a little bit of an AGM, haven't we? And we decided to go with our 3 biggest fancies at the Dublin Racing Festival. So we're going to pick out my 3 best bets, Gavin's 3 best bets for Leopardstown this weekend. But before we do, Gavin, the floor is yours to talk to me all things Dublin Racing Festival. You're going to mention some things about the big races. Don't give too much away about your tips, but talk to me.
And just to tell people as well, we're on both, I think, on What a Shout this Friday, so keep an eye out on that.
Keep an eye out for What a Shout.
The first race on the Saturday is the 2 mile 6 grade 1, the Italian Lacey Solicitors. Hollow Games, Ginto, I'd imagine Hollow Games will run.
Yes.
On to the Spring Juvenile. I think there's a chance Phil Dore will run, because why would he have ran Pied Piper last weekend? He could have kept Pied Piper for this week. So if Phil Dore goes, I think I'd back him.
Okay.
He's second favourite at the moment, but I'd imagine he'd go off favourite. I just think the Vauban thing is slightly overemphasised just a minute. The Irish Arkle, Blue Lord, St. Sam, Houghton, Colour should be a great race.
Will all 3 run there?
I don't know. Would Blue Lord definitely run? Maybe. It's hard to know. It's hard to know. We're on to the Paddy Power Handicap Hurdle over 3 mile. I can't see Albion Photo running, but that's just me. A couple in that, maybe Priory Park, V Dancer, they might be. Ron McNally has a couple run this weekend that...
You know what you have to do,
No,
Gavin?
I will.
You know what you have to
later.
do? Go on, give us a quick one.
We will in a minute. Ken Boy, I think... Look, we all need to do the rain dance between now and Saturday. We just want every horse to run. That's the most important thing. They've done their best, Leopardstown. They've put down, 160 mil?
160, yeah, so far.
There's only so much they can do. They've had how many mil since Christmas? 5 or something?
Yeah, very little, yeah.
So, anyway, hopefully they all run. Ken Boy love the ground. Frodon is in it. It's not the greatest Irish Gold Cup ever. I don't think we'll see the Cheltenham Gold Cup winners anyway. So.
Styrian Falange?
Yeah, he could go. He has to go left-handed, but...
Yeah, he could just win this, though. He could.
He could. Would Tornado Flyer show up or not?
Could do, yeah.
We've also got a 2 mile handicap chase. Buddy Rich, Mount Leinster, Fighting Fit. That's a decent race. And then the bumper, Facile Vague, American Mike, Redemption Day. Who's going to show up, who's not? It's going to be tit for tat there.
Yeah,
So
I kind of like it's what unites us in that.
I like that too. Maybe it's what unites us, or maybe Facile Vague.
Yeah, a bit of value there. It's what
So 7
unites us.
races on Saturday, so good card.
Sunday,
we're starting off with the Mares handicap hurdle. Party Central Brides, Henning Glan, who's got a very good run in Fairy House. That's a good race. The novice chase, Gallopin de Champ. Do you think more people would go to see Honeysuckle or Gallopin de Champ? Are they the 2 star attractions on Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honeysuckle, yeah.
Yeah.
Who do you think they come to see?
No, I'm just saying that I think people are really excited about Gallopin de Champ.
Oh, they are, yeah,
Yeah.
but not as much as Honeysuckle.
Yeah.
Well, you think it's...
I know, these novices, we just love them, don't we? He was so spectacular at
Oh,
Christmas.
yeah, I know.
So hopefully he shows up because he'll obviously win. Shack and Persois, your horse against Grenadine.
Wins.
Just
wins.
Handicap.
I'll tell you now, right? If I hadn't tipped Shark and Persois for the champion chase already in the show at 6-1, I would be absolutely telling everybody to back him now at 12-1.
Yeah, okay.
He's a ridiculous price.
Yeah. He's going for the hat-trick in that race, isn't he?
Yeah, wins.
The handicap chase over 2-5, Black Bow, Conflated, Gallant, John Joe, decent race.
Have one at a big price for that.
Okay.
Yep.
Honeysuckle win. Appreciated might wait, would he, for the...
Probably.
Yeah, the race
Red Mills.
The Red Mills in Gorham Park in 2
Park,
weeks' time. Sharjah probably won't run, so Zanny here might be second maybe.
Okay.
The novice hurdle over 2 mile, I love Sir Gerhard. I think his jumping is low and slick. El Fabiolo is the flying the ointment, so we're going to get to see. He's a talking horse.
I was blown away by him in Tremor, I have to say.
Yeah. Now, obviously, it was a poor race, but he couldn't have done any better.
Yeah.
Willie loves him, so I think Sir Gerhard. But
Okay.
there's a 2 mile, a brilliant 2 mile handicap hurdle. Echoes and Rain, Cara Ray, Top Bandit, an epic song. That's a good race.
Yep.
And then to finish, the Mayor's bumper, Pink in the Park, the Model Kingdom, Harmonia Maker. Pink in the Park was incredibly impressive on her debut, so hard to go against her.
Yeah.
So,
It's a good
but
race,
look,
though.
15 races, and just one other thing I want to mention: the prize money for the 2 days, 2,075 grand. Each race is 100,000 minimum, an average of 138 grand. And just
Well done, HRI.
Well done.
What a weekend.
Just one thing there about the Cheltenham Festival. Surely the prize money needs to be looked at. It's so expensive now to get in at the top end, buy these expensive point-to-pointers. I think that the owners deserve more prize money at Cheltenham. It's just my own opinion. Like the Hunter's Chase last year, the total prize money was 33 grand. The Kimmior 52, the Bumper 56. Like Kilcrut ran his heart out and he gets 11,900 for second. Like by the time you pay everything, you wouldn't have much left, would you? Travel expenses and jockeys and entries and trainers and stuff. So the cross country 48 grand, the Martin Pipe 52 grand. Like there's of 28 races at Cheltenham, there's 20 of them that the prize money is less than 100 grand. Anyway, I think maybe that should be something looked at. But
Okay, interesting points there, Gavin. Right, our top 3.
Top 3
for the Dublin Racing
You go ahead
Festival.
first.
Okay, I'll go first. Okay, I'm going to kick off on Saturday in the. I think it's it's a 350. Okay.
Okay.
It's a 2 mile 1 handicap chase.
Yep.
And he's a bit of a headbanger, but I think Mount Leinster will stray these off 135.
Okay.
It's not a good race. It's not very competitive. There's a lot of horses that kind of have ran against each other in the same race over Christmas on St. Stephen's Day, Boxing Day. And I think Mount Leinster is a different class of horse to these type of horses.
What about his jumping?
His jumping. It's going to be a horrible viewing way.
So just go into the back, go in and have your tea and then click on the result.
Go behind the couch, or if you're at the races, just go behind a pillar or something, because it's going to be a horrible watch. He's going to be, you know what he's going to do, but he has decent form at Leopardstown. He did jump better in the beginner's chase behind Hot on Colours, and in a race like this, I could see him getting away from them.
You can't resist the rating.
I just can't resist. 135. If he doesn't make more than 2 mistakes,
Okay.
he could bolt up.
So you're allowing him to.
Yeah, he's just mad. He's just mad, right? He's just mad, but I think Mount Leinster could bolt up in the...
Just said in that
2-1.
race, Fighting Fit must have an each-way chance because he jumps so well.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Fighting Fifth. Okay, my next one is the 225 on Sunday. It is the Leopardstown handicap chase. I like this one.
Okay.
14 or 16 to 1, I'd say. Birchdale. An old
Birchdale.
pal of mine, okay? Led over the second last in the Paddy Power. I don't think he stays 3 miles. Never did. Never thought he did. Never ever dreamt he would. I don't think he stays 3 miles. He travelled and jumped like a rejuvenated character, I thought, in the Paddy Power. And Enda Bulger seems to have got to the bottom of him. He's run off 1:29. Now, hopefully he'll scrape in here. I think 2 mile 5, Leopardstown, bit of nice ground. I think it's made for Birchdale. So I think at around 14 or 16 to 1, Birchdale. And my final selection, and possibly my strongest fancy of the entire weekend,
Okay.
Gavin. It runs in which is what's now called the Liffey Handicap Hurdle. And it is Cask Mate for Noel Meade and Sean Flanagan. Rated 139. This horse has plenty in hand, I think.
Okay.
I think a race like this, he's a good jumper, he's a strong traveller. He made a mistake at the second last when we saw him last at Down Royal in late October when he was running against Zana here. And this race, big field, Noel Meade has won it twice, I think. Ice Cold Soul, and he won it one other time. I'll think of the name before we leave. And I think he's been earmarked for this race, Cask Mate. So Cask Mate for me is my banker of the weekend. So Cask Mate, Birchdale and Mount Leinster are my 3 strongest fancies at the Dublin Racing Festival.
Okay.
3 from you, Gav.
I'll go with Fildor 2-1 to win the Spring Juvenile. I don't see why he wouldn't run if Pied Piper went last weekend. That leaves the door open for him to go run here. I love Party Central in the Mares Handicap Hurdle of 121. She was very good in the Mares Bumper last year at the Dublin Racing Festival. Just got chinned by Grand G. Brandy Love was back in third, nearly 5 lengths behind, so that's good form. Won its maiden hurdle, I think, over 2.5 in a stall. Then it finished lame and Down Royal. The last day got there way too soon. Looked like it was going to win by 10. Just hung on in the end. So I think Davy or Jack will know to hold on to it much, much later this time. Has to come very, very late. But there's going to be loads of pace in the race. The lady in red, Aloe Amora, must be obeyed, Bride's Hill. So that'll suit. And I just hope that coming to the last, Davy's down the outside tanking. Hopefully. I would love to see Glan go for the 2 mile handicap hurdle, but we'll see. But I still think Party Central take a lot of beating. And I'm going to go for Sir Gerhard in the 2 mile novice hurdle. I loved his jumping at Christmas, as I said. Will El Fabiolo be all talk, or is he going to come and do it? But I think Sir Gerhard take a lot of beating. And if Fildor doesn't run, I'd stick in pink in the park for the Trixie.
Okay, so it is Fildor, Party Central and Sir Gerhard.
Yeah.
They're Gavin's 3 for the Dublin Racing Festival. And Mount Leinster, Birchdale and Cask Mate are my 3. And before we go, there is other stuff happening this week.
There is.
We've got Wetherby, we've got Sand in the Scilly Isles, and Gavin and I had a little chat before the show, and we're actually in agreement here. We're taking something on. Now, I said last week the Chantry House was delayed the weekend. I was kind of right. He won. I was wrong. I know I was wrong.
You lose your money.
You lose your money. I was wrong. But I think we both agree on the lay of the weekend this weekend.
Yeah, I just think Long Press going right-handed. Love the horse. I think it's 3 from 3. Has won right-handed, but as you saw at Ascot 2 runs ago, jumped out to its left. Look, this is a grade 1, stepping up in class, was brilliant the last day in Cheltenham and would have a chance in the Turners maybe. But I just think at odds on, going right-handed, if he keeps jumping out to a left, it's going to lose too much ground.
Yeah, and you've got a viable alternative here as well in Pic Dory,
Yeah.
who's got experience, who would have been 3 from 3 this season had he not fallen at Newbury. I thought he was going to win that handsomely. That's good form if he won that race. And to me, he wins this race.
Yeah, I think so too.
The Nickel stable form is a little bit of a worry, but they do get their jabs in,
January.
their flu jabs in January. So I wouldn't be, hopefully he'll be okay.
Okay. And also to mention a high senior, hopefully he'll get the job done. He'll be a sharp price in Wetherby. Going left-handed 3 mile, he'll be out in front. He needs to jump better than he did Kempton, but he'll win. There
could be a big shake-up in the Brown Advisory market because you've got a high senior and Gallop in the Champs potentially.
Yeah, whether a Gallop in the Champ now goes for which race, we don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, so it's a big weekend.
And you are in Leopardstown.
Yeah, Saturday, yeah.
Everybody should come up and say hello.
Myself and Peter will be there.
Your pal Peter.
Yeah.
You'll be keeping manners on him, will you?
I try to, as best I can.
He enjoys himself, doesn't he?
He does.
He does. Come on, Peter. Hopefully see you Saturday. And I'll see you Saturday. And hopefully we'll see you Saturday and Sunday. So now it's time for Upping the Stakes. And we've plenty to choose from this week. We should hopefully, fingers crossed, get some money for Cancer Trials Ireland. 50 quid went back into the kitty last week because you raised me up as a non-runner at Gorham Park on Thursday. But this week, hopefully, Gavin, we're going to add to the pool. What are you going for?
Yeah, 50 quid win, Party Central. No wild price at the minute. Maybe it'll drift a little bit later on in the week. But in the Mares Handicap on the Sunday, the first race, I've given the reasons why, so I won't say them again. But I think it's well handicapped of 1-2-1.
Okay, 50 quid on the nose, Party Central for Gavin Lynch at Leopardstown on Sunday. And I'm going to go for a big one. Fingers crossed. Cask Mate. Castmate for me in the Liffey handicap
way or
hurdle.
win?
Oh, win. We need money for Cancer Trials Ireland. 50 quid win, 420 Sunday, Castmate. Hoping for 16s. There's some 14s out there at the moment. So hopefully we'll have a nice juicy 750 quid or 800 quid coming back from Bet365. And it's a nice gesture every week, Gavin.
It is.
They give us 50 quid to try and raise money for Cancer Trials Ireland. So this week I think they're going to get stung.
Yeah, and we're doing well so far.
Castmate and Party Central, hopefully. That is upping the stakes. Oh, it's Ante Post picks time, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting squeaky bum time now, Gavin. We've got to get a few winners into these lists.
6 weeks to go.
6 weeks to go. We've got to get a few winners in. So it is our latest picks to add to our Ante Post lists. That's actually quite hard to say. I'm kind of proud of myself there. So you 2 last week. We have to even up. So I have 2 this week, okay? We keep it right, keep everything in order, okay? So my first selection this week is in the County Hurdle, and he goes by the name No Ordinary Joe for Nicky Henderson and JP McManus, 20-1 Bet365. Rated 136 at the moment. Now, he's entered in the Betfair Hurdle. I kind of hope he doesn't go there. I hope he goes straight to Cheltenham off 136, because if he ran in the race last year off 136, Gavin, he'd only carry 10 stone 7. I think Getaway Gorgeous was rated 136 in the race last year. She carried 10 stone 7. And to me, with 10 stone 7 in the County Hurdle, I think No Ordinary Joe has a great chance. First handicap was in the Great Wood. Was a little keen, a little fizzy, but bang there. Only joined coming up to the last. Finished 3rd. To me, it was a cracking run. I think it was a good Great Wood this year. You got West Cork, who won the race. Adagio was a class horse, 2nd, and last year's Triumph was 2nd. Caprand, I think, is a good horse in 4th. The 5th was Tritonic, who won the big hurdle, the big Betfair hurdle at Ascot before Christmas. The 6th was Glory and Fortune, who was 2nd to Epatante in the Christmas hurdle. The 7th was Maries Rock, who I know ran disappointing last time, but has won since as well. I think it was a cracking Great Wood. And I think the experience of running in a Great Wood like that is going to stand to No Ordinary Joe. It's a different track at Cheltenham. It's the new course. There's a longer run between the second last and the last. But if Nico can get a little bit of cover, just sneak in behind, maybe sit 3rd or 4th. A bit like Santois. Do you remember Santois won the race for JP? Yeah. That type of ride. And I'm pretty sure that No Ordinary Joe is a lot better than the mark of 136. So hopefully, Nicky, if you're watching, don't go for the Betfair Hurdle. Go straight to Cheltenham for the County Hurdle. And up in the Ante viewers, I'd advise you to get on at 20-1. So No Ordinary Joe. My first selection this week in the County Hurdle at 20-1. And my second selection goes in the Albert Bartlett. And it is a Gordon Elliott trained horse. But it's not the one you're thinking.
Okay.
It's not Ginto. The favourite at the moment, it's not Ginto. It is Manila Crooner. Manila Crooner is my latest selection. 10-1 with Bet365. He split Kilcrut and the winner Journey With Me in a maiden hurdle at Leopardstown on the final day of the Leopardstown Christmas Festival. And he did so after clattering almost every hurdle along the way. I thought it was a hell of a performance. He was really closing down Journey With Me after the last as well. He looks a real dour stayer. And the thing that I loved, last time at Punchestown in a week 3 mile maiden hurdle, he jumped brilliantly, travelled really well. And Ivan, the second horse that day, was 4 to Eric Bloodaxe in a graded race at Cork and travelled really well that day against Eric Bloodaxe as well. I don't think he's that bad of a horse, Ivan. And I think that maiden hurdle form is a little bit stronger than we're giving it credit for. Manila Crooner, I think the Albert Bartlett, that really stamina-stapping stretch from the second last line, I think is going to suit Manila Crooner. He's not going to be a better horse than Ginto in time. He might not be a better horse than Ginto in Cheltenham either, but he's 10-1, and I think double figures is too big of a price for Manila Crooner. So No Ordinary Joe and Manila Crooner. Did all right there, didn't I?
Yeah, good luck with them.
That was a lot of talking in a short space of time. How are you?
Yeah, good. I'm going to go for a Horse in the Stairs hurdle. It's a horse that I mentioned to you off camera a couple of times in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
Last week, I think it was around, say, 5-1 before Classical Dream, and Champ disappointed. So I think 4-1 Ante Post that it is with Bet365. I think that's value, and that's Flooring Porter.
I was going to say, you're going to give us the name? Flooring Porter, okay.
Yeah, and the other thing is that he's the youngest horse of the market leaders, which I like as well. He's only a 7-year-old. His first 12 runs, he was held up. And then what they decided to do is to change the tactics, and he's done that for the last 6 runs. Yeah. So he bolted up in Navan by 12 lengths. He won the Grade 1 at Christmas by 6 lengths, 13 months ago, we'll say. He then went on to win the Stairs Hurdle by 3.5 lengths last year. Paisley Park was beaten 5 lengths that day. He's not as good going right-handed. Okay, he's a tricky customer. He was messing at the start of Punchestown, and then he jumped out to his left. So I'd ignore that run completely.
Hell of a run, though.
In Punchestown?
Or in last time, sorry. I apologise.
No problem. In November, he fell at the second last. This was over 2.5 mile in a race won by Durasso. We've seen Durasso at the weekends. That's quite good form. To me, he was travelling like the winner, but we'll never know. Then at Christmas, a bit of a mess. He misses the break by, say, 8 lengths behind Classical Dream, gets beaten by 2.
This was the cracking run I was talking about.
Yeah, so that was a good run. He stayed at it all the way up the straight, hung a little bit left, but still, it was a very, very good run.
Excellent run.
I think that if Paisley Park couldn't beat him last year at 9, he won't beat him this year at 10. Champ is a 10-year-old, very impressive in Ascot, but obviously got beat by Paisley Park. Classical Dream, maybe the gap between races thing, maybe he was the ground, but he wasn't his best in Gorham Park, so he's been beat. Time Hill, your horse, has to have a chance. He's a very solid horse, well beat in France, came back second to Champ as well, so all the form is tying in. Royal Cahalat have a chance. Sporting John probably won't go here. He'd have a bit of a squeak if the ground was soft. But yeah, I think 4-1 Flooring Porter. Now the most important furlong for him is the first furlong. He needs to get away from the traps in front if possible. He may get taken on by the horse that led the other day in Cheltenham, the horse that won the Albert Bartlett a few years back. He finished third to Paisley Park and Champ on Saturday.
Lisnagar Oscar?
Yeah. So he may get taken on by him at the start.
Lisnagar Oscar won the Stairs Hurdle.
Won the Stairs Hurdle, sorry, not the Albert Bartlett. Yeah, the Stairs, apologies. So he may get taken on, but I still think that 4-1 Flooring Porter is good value. And I think he's the most solid in the Stairs Hurdle. It's an open race, but he must have a great chance of retaining his title.
Yeah, and as you say, the key thing here for your tip is that he was only a slightly bigger price last week, and now a lot has happened, and negatively for his rivals in the market, and now he's still...
I think he's better value at 4-1 now than he was a week ago at 5-1.
Okay.
And the fact that he's only 7, I think he's got a better chance.
You are mad to get him onto your list, weren't you? You're mad.
Sure,
you were like me with Tiger Roll last
But especially with the 2 who haven't got beat, I think he's
Yeah.
got a great chance.
So the time is right.
Yeah, Flooring Porter.
The time is right for Gavin Lynch to add Flooring Porter to his list, 4-1 with Bet365 for the Stayers Hurdle. So before we let you go and let you back to studying all the races at the Dublin Racing Festival, we're going to have a quick look at our Ante Post list. And Gavin, I'm hoping this weekend will be the weekend when Shaq and Persois, tipped up by me at 6-1, now available at 12-1, will get back to his right price.
Yeah, he needs to win and win well.
Yeah.
He needs to beat Grenadine, etc. if he's going to take on the 2 stars.
I think he's going to be about 9-2 after this weekend.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
He'd want to win 6 lengths, wouldn't he?
Yeah, I think he will.
I see Shishkin and Energamina, I think now are 177 and 175, so that's quite a high rating. Yeah.
It is quite a high rating, so it's a big weekend for Shaq and Persois. And unfortunately, Gavin, obviously one gone from your list.
Yeah, look, sorry if anybody
about
backed Fernie Hollow. It's just, and the previous week was Blazing Cal. There were 2 decent horses to have backed at the right prices, but that's the way it goes, I suppose. At least Allegory Devassi enhanced our chances.
Absolutely.
At Fairy House. So, yeah.
And of course, you've got Sir Gerhard this weekend.
Yeah, I'd like to see him go and win. Whether he goes for the Supreme or the Ballymore, like with Willie's chasers and novice hurdlers, apart from Statler going for the National Hunt Chase and maybe what do you call the favourite for the Arkle?
Blue Lord.
Apart from those 2, God knows where all the horses are going. So it's all over the place at the minute.
Yeah, it's a big couple of days for Willie Mullins trying to decide, and it's always going to be the way. Same coming up to Cheltenham. He's got so many to pick and choose from, so it'll be interesting to see. But hard luck with Fernie Hollow. But I'm telling you, the world is a good place, Gavin, okay? It's going to come back. You're going to get some good karma in return, and you're going to get something at a big price. Maybe Gowl Road, maybe.
You never know.
Might come out and win the Coral Cup. You never know. But that was a quick look at our Ante Post Tip so far. So there you go, folks. That's it. That's it for episode 13. I wonder, is it going to be unlucky, Gavin? Is it going to be unlucky?
No, I've enough.
Hopefully not. But Gavin Lynch is actually doing something remarkable this weekend. You're doing something you rarely do on a Saturday. You're going racing.
Yeah, please God, yeah.
Are you looking forward to it?
I am.
What's the plan for the day?
I was in Leopardstown there a while back and...
yeah, 96.
No, a few months ago. And I love the way they've done the new entrance and around the parade ring, and they've spaced it out. And instead of everybody on one side of the parade ring, it kind of gets spaced out a lot more now. Yeah. So brilliant place to go racing, good food, and good crowd.
So will you be part of the prawn sandwich brigade now, or will you be in with the riffraff like the rest of us?
The riffraff, yeah.
No, you won't. You're up eating your prawn sandwiches, I'd say.
No.
You're looking forward to it anyway?
It should be a brilliant weekend's racing, and certainly there's going to be a huge impact nearly on every race at the Cheltenham Festival this weekend, so yeah.
There you go. You're going to see, if you go to Leopardstown on Saturday, say hello to Gavin. I think Party Central, your tip for the weekend?
Yeah, it just depends on her price, but I think she's going to take a lot of beating in the handicap, yeah.
Central. Hopefully Caskmate will do the business for me on Sunday. I'll be there both days, slaving away in the press room. Yeah. But it's going to be a cracking 2 days at Leopardstown for the Dublin Racing Festival. 2 of my favourite days of the year, I have to say. And hopefully next week when we're back on your screens, we'll be celebrating a good weekend, Gavin.
Yeah, and just hopefully that all the horses get to run. It's not Leopardstown's fault. It's just there's been no rain. They've done their best. Yeah. And please God, we get a bit of rain and that they all run. So
absolutely, please God. And if you are having a bet this weekend, don't forget to gamble responsibly. Only bet what you can afford to lose. I've been David Jennings. He's been Gavin Lynch. This has been Upping The Ante. Thanks for watching.